Good day, my dear ones. Haven't talked to you in a good couple of weeks, or at least a week. I know I shot a couple of hour ones, so I apologize for that one, but I have to grab and go. And I have to apologize. I had one note here from someone that, from Dave here, about if you are going to have a guest, please let them have a turn. And I agree. When I have a guest, these videos I shot with her, I only had an hour and I just grabbed and ran. See how fast I was trying to get through them, because there's so many questions here and there's so many people suffering. I never want to put my guests, these are individuals that want to get clinicals and stuff, and so I really never put them on point, because I don't want to put them on the spot. And I just don't want to do that, but then maybe that's just my ego, and not allowing that to happen. But I'll definitely take that into consideration, Dave. Definitely. I get you that. The information seemed to get a little lost with two people in the video, and that's part of the problem, is that you get too many people going, and it does get that way. And each practitioner has their own twist a little bit. Even you guys will have a little twist. Hopefully not too much, because you get too out of that line, and then you start going downhill with that. Jermaine was here, and I don't even have enough words to tell each and every one of you thank you for your comments. I really don't. It's just, this is I couldn't say I love every one of you guys. Carol, Monica, Rita, and Misha, I tell you, your detox spa, that's exciting. Everyone, I couldn't mention all of you guys. I thank you for your comments. It's a good feed. It helps me to know that I feel like I'm on the right path here, and that, we're doing the right thing. We're healing people up and not hurting anybody, and everybody's getting a remedy at one level or another. So, thank you so much. Sometimes you guys make me want to go cry in the corner. But, thanks. Now, this person asked me about neurolymphatic points. We do have it's not a brochure. It's more like a what do you call these? Basically, anyway, we have some information on it, how to do it and everything else. So if you need that, call in. I think Shannon has that, and she'll mail you out that. It's coming in our new book, the club book, and so that'll be very helpful. There's so many questions. I'm going to come in tomorrow if I can. I'm going to try to take a whole day and just really catch up, because you've got excellent questions. I can't say enough about how well you guys are picking this up and learning. Each and every one of you, when I talk to you here, it's like talking to a physician that knows the body and how it works. And I have to say, I just love that. I love that. You guys are getting so smart. I'm proud of each and every one of you. And you do your best. Nobody's over you with a club on my site. You do the very best you can. We work with you, and we all go this way. So don't worry about it. Always pull yourself back to the path, though. Try to have that self-discipline to pull yourself back to the fruit line. You burn out, all right, okay, you're already in, come back. Keep coming, keep digging. Especially if your eyes are showing chronic lymph and stuff, keep digging. I don't care how long it takes, just keep digging. And you'll look back years from now going, wow, look at that. Matter of fact, I was going to read one here from a gentleman that I thought was pretty cool. And this is Steve in Colorado. And I identify with this Steve here. It's amazing how your discussions both about health and spirituality have brought back so many memories of my life in the 70s. Yeah, I know. And that was a hotbed in the early 70s for spirituality, growth. That's when the Beatles were looking at the Maharishi, all that. Timothy Leary syndromes, earlier in the 60s. So all that was festering in growth, and the Eckmasters were pumping out this higher awareness, and it was just amazing. And it was a good time in those earlier years, and some people took it and then got lost. I just took it and rode the bull, baby. And but you know what? Any second is yours. And every second is yours. At any second, you just wake up. You stop, get beyond that mind, and you're home. Just get behind thought. And it just takes a little practice to keep working because the mind is used to dominating. You're used to using your mind to communicate, to desire, to move. Now move from consciousness as opposed to thought. And big difference. It definitely is unique, and it does require the mind here. But you can develop the ability to be over that. Use the mind and not be trapped in the thoughts. Big thing here. It's only very recently through your talks I've been desired the life I was seeking a long time ago. That's for you, Steve. While living in the now during those years, things always unfolded at the exact time when I needed something or someone. And they are now. It's just hard to see that because you start stacking up thoughts and desires and things, and that's your karma. That starts getting in the way of just what you said, Steve. The now, which as you burn off all that, the backed up karma, you're living in real time. And your movements will be felt back at you in real time too. That's when you start seeing karma for what it really is. As a rule, an individual doesn't recognize karma because it's not back at them immediately. They're still chewing on past karma. But when you start burning all this off, that's another thing Steve brings up here very good, is that your karma is pretty close to immediate. So it doesn't take long to hum the old mind and consciousness, let me tell you, because really one gets their butt kicked when you're not careful with that. Now, whether it was a job, help, companion, friend, or new adventure. Back then, I had relieved myself of possessions. Yeah, I did too, and therefore had few needs and fewer wants. Yet my life was very fulfilling, and I had a lot of freedom. This is a big key for those looking at this now, because, Steve, we have thousands of teenagers and 20-year-olds now. This is their 1970s, and that's what's beautiful. The difference is we can help you go quicker. We can help you eliminate the pitfalls we did and what we went through, which we didn't have to if someone had been there saying, maybe not. Now, I'm not saying that one always listens, especially to the master or to your spiritual guide or to yourself. But it's a part of development, a part of awakening is learning to listen instead of thinking. And so this is just part of that process, So there's so many of you entering this zone now, and this is a good time to let the spirituality grow. Let the now begin and enjoy that. And maybe you won't fall, some of you, like we did. Now, I maintain my spirituality because that's my number one focus. Health has been my secondary focus. Only because once you get away from the body, wow, is that fun. There's a new movie coming out about a young man that had an out-of-body experience. I forget what happened to him, went to the ER, had an out-of-body experience, and now there's a book and a movie about his, and they say he went to heaven. Well, he went to the astral plane and what I hear him talking about. So that's a heaven from here. But there are many levels of heavens. Jesus said that. Buddha said that. So, and any out-of-body traveler working with masters that have that ability to move through the realms will take you to the different realms. And so there's all levels of fun and excitement and stuff like that. Absolutely. I'm working towards that life once again, and I'm beginning to feel the freedom that comes from both mental and physical detachment of the material world. And that's what's it, Steve. This is your last lifetime, man. All right, so this is the time to close it all up. Enjoy the beauty of it. Enjoy the planet. Play. Have fun. Don't get attached. You don't want anything. You don't need anything. You got all the sukha you need, which is you. And you're omnipresent and omnipotent and omniscient when you tap that level of yourself. And so it's just amazing. Absolutely. Like you mentioned today in your video, I used to do the relaxing meditation the way you described it, emptying my mind and entering in awareness in the now. At that time, I was seeking solutions to some serious health issues and working at a natural healing institute. Wow. Just down the road from Sedona, Arizona, baby. Ley Line, Arizona. And remember visiting Eckankar. Oh, look at that. Once or twice, but they seemed to be in a little turmoil at the time. Possible. You know, all teachings are. You know, someone was talking about Twitchell and downplaying him, but I tell you, even the Radha Swami, which is the yoga of light and sound, it's called the Radha Swami. It's called Shabda Yoga. And Shabda Yoga is the yoga of light and sound, meaning most teachings teach about the light of God, but they don't have the sound with it. They don't have the power with it. And both are essential to get into some higher levels. And so it's just little differences, you know, but it's different levels of understanding that's out there. And okay, there's no need to downplay anybody because they're at different levels. And so there's a war between the Radha Swami. Kirpal Singh was good. No, he was bad. He did this, he did that. There's always those fights. And it's like petty stuff. Petty stuff. The real issue is God in your consciousness, not who is this or who is that, and who can teach you that, who can plant you there, who can open you up there. That's the key. Not these ritualistic things and stuff like this. Now, the Radha Swami is they're very strict, Shabda Yoga. No meat, no eggs, no nothing. And that's a good part about that. But just because you have a piece of dead animal doesn't mean you can't have an out-of-body experience or have God. And those that think that are delusional. That's ridiculous. Like you mentioned today, okay, let's go on here. Arizona. Anyway, I am now back on the road again, baby. Oh, I love that, Steve. Thank you for guiding. Oh, man, I love you, man. This is neat stuff, Steve. Thank you so much from Koharon. Perhaps a separate spiritual YouTube video will help those. You know what? I will do that. I've been trying to interface that in with all these other things, just so, don't get mad, just so I'm kind of tapping on your guys' shoulders. While you're getting into health, I'm kind of tapping and opening this up too. So it's just my way of digging through you while you're learning health. I'm also trying to open you up consciousness-wise. So it's just the way I've been working that way. But spiritual videos you will get. And then in a couple of years, we have our major seminar. Then it's all going to be spiritual for that, pretty much. There'll be some classes on health and stuff, of course, but we really want to dig into a deeper subject matter, you know. My question is about doing a hardcore fasting detox. I'm planning to take some time off this summer for a 30-day water fast, and I'm wondering if it would enhance the effectiveness of the fast by adding some of the herbs. You could. Some people do. Especially a couple of strong kidney formulas and lymphatic. Ooh, you could. You know what? I probably on a water fast wouldn't hit it real hard, but you could hit it a little bit. Because I'll tell you what, before you do a 30-day water fast, I think you should make sure your kidneys are filtering. Now, it's true that some of the people now, it was Dimitri, I think, on a dry fast that just got tons of stuff in his urine. Tons of stuff. So I thought that was interesting. So it's all interesting stuff. I think you guys are going to take this, what we've discovered through the years, and explode it. You're going to really put it on the earth the way it should be, and put some more smarts in it. So, you know, I'm just real proud of every one of you. Perhaps even just the tinctures in order to eliminate all fiber. You could, and I probably would. That way you eliminate digestion of the herbs and stuff. And that's what the whole goal of water fasting anyway. One big goal is to eliminate digestion. So, you're good, smart thinking, Steve. I did a 4-week water-only fast last summer without any negative issues. Then you're going to do real good with this. Even so, I've got a long way to go. Well, you know what, Steve? You just keep on going. But remember, you don't have a long way to go. You're already here. Remember that? You're already here. So that's the point of living in the now. You don't have anywhere to go. Because there is nowhere to go. You're no more in time. There's no past, present, or future. There's no matter, energy, space, and time. Because you're in the allness of everything. However, your bodies are still in these time sequences, and your physical body's still in a very chemical world. So, yes, but don't be your bodies. All right. Thank you so much with that. Now, a couple things I want to do here. How much time do I have? Ooh, I got an hour. Okay, now, there was a comment made here that I wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit because as a rule, I wouldn't even address this. But this is interesting. This is from MJL 353535. Right? And this is either a nurse, a medical doctor, or a pharmacist, probably. Could be one of you guys. It says, stop pretending you're educated in medicine. That's interesting. I thought I never thought I was educated in medicine. It's possible. Definitely possible. You clearly don't understand the first thing about medicine. Well, that was an ego statement, my friend. You don't make statements like that because you have no idea what I know. I keep things simple for all you guys, but you have no idea what I know and where my intelligence level is. So that kind of statement. But I find that interesting because I've been living with a cardiac nurse for 32 years. I've known all my cardiac meds. I've pulled so many people out of life situations. But let me show you something. Did you guys catch the latest Consumer Reports? Consumer Reports. 440,000. 440,000 deaths last year from hospital mistakes, including pharmaceuticals. Now, back in the 90s, the medical doctors had hurt so many people with pharmaceuticals. So let's see, though, they study medicine, right? I guess not. Anyway, the pharmacists were wanting to take over the recommendation of pharmaceuticals from the diagnosis from the physician. Medical doctors gotten so much of an arm about that was shut down. But I believe, my own opinion, the smartest person about a pharmaceutical besides the creator is the pharmacist. I have a lot of pharmacist friends, and these guys study the chemistry. These guys study pharmacy, pharmacology. Those are the guys that know. And I'll tell you, there was a gentleman that had a heart attack or something. His wife was there with him in ICU. His medical doctor wrote a script, handed it to her. She went to the pharmacy to fill it. 2 pharmacists walked up to her window and said, "Who wrote this script?" She said, "Well, my doctor did." And she said, "If you mix these 2 drugs, this person who'll take this will be dead within the hour." See, they said, this is very serious. And wait a minute. This was a guy that's supposed to know medicine, right? You see what I'm saying? Now, this is Consumer Reports, so 440,000 people. Now, you could double that because those are facts from CDC Center, so you could double that. But that's not all. Wait, no. That's just in hospitals. Let's go outside of that into general practice. It can go way on up past 1 million. So, there's one case of me that, thank God, I'm not a pharmaceutical thinker. And if you are, I'd suggest you change that. Because that is a serious road of serious litigation in the future, let me tell you. They're getting away with it now, but I can tell you there's nothing pharmaceuticals have much that we don't have better in herbs or homeopathics. Granted, there's some pharmaceuticals that could be very beneficial in stat needs. I'll grant that. And that is the ones we used in the ER. Spent a lot of years in the ER, but then I don't know too much about medicine. Not my field and not the field I want to be in, by the way. It's not a curing, healing field. Get off the egos and you'll see all that. Now, okay, I got this one. Oh, just as a side note, anybody catch Jesse Ventura's latest movie? Or latest, special? About the reptilians. Interesting, huh? Okay, now, I want to do this. There's 2 things I want to do here. I want to read you a case that sent me such a overwhelming letter, I had to call her. So, I want to read you the case for Facebook here, and I'll go over her blood work with you. I have not gone over this blood work yet myself. So I'm going to do this in front of you. I'm not going to mention any names. But I want to go over her case with you because her mother wrote me in desperation. And I'll show you more evidence that this whole concept of medicine and medical doctors, this is a common problem. And it gets these people up into Hellville. And that, and 9 times out of 10, is medical. There are naturopaths, not good. Marcy was just telling me some lady had some big tumor in her breasts, and her naturopath recommended bone soup and coconut oil. And she started crashing, and he dumped her. This is the problem. You guys are the best of the best of the best, and you will be the best of the best of the best. And any of you medical doctors that are watching this, forgive me, but you've got to join us in a positive way, because you've got to protect yourselves. A lot of you are smart and know better, and you're protecting yourself. But I'm going to tell you what's coming. You know, it isn't the same world anymore. It isn't the same genetics anymore. The toxicity levels are at the chronic and degenerative levels. So you're not dealing in the same patients that you did way back. You're dealing at a level that few understand. So come join us, and let's get rid of these toxic chemicals, and let's start healing people up the way they should be. And you will be happy and the rest of your life, and burn off some of that karma. This was sent to me. Got Scott on the name. I think this is from Scott. And I wanted to read this one. It says, I came across this article while trying to find out more about becoming certified, and wanted to know what Dr. Morse recommendations to those who want to help others like this gentleman was doing. Okay, so this is unlicensed naturopathic John E. Curran ordered to stop practicing. Stephen Bartlett, MD. Now, was this written by a medical doctor? I don't know. It says the Rhode Island Department of Health has suspended the healthcare practice of John E. Curran for falsely portraying himself as a physician and naturopath. Curran is operated as the Rhode Island Health Aid in Cranston, Rhode Island, and the Northeastern Institute for Advanced Natural Healing in Providence, Rhode Island. For several years, Curran's now defunct website stated that he was a doctor of naturopathy, ND, degreed from the American Institute of Natural Healing, a doctor of naturopathic medicine, NMD, degreed from the Southern College of Naturopathic Medicine, no, didn't know him well, doctor of medicine, alternative medicine, NDAM, from the Southern Graduate Institute, and a doctor of medicine, MD, from the St. Luke School of Medicine. That was pretty good. The site also claimed that he is certified by Brown University Medical School, Duke University Medical School, and Harvard University Medical School. Now here's the thing. There's no certification right now, currently, for natural health practitioners anywhere that I know of. If there is, there was one at one time on the Federal Education Board. I forget what you call that board now, but they did offer certification in natural healing. I don't believe there is a certification for natural healing anywhere by a truly certifying board that has any consciousness to it. Most states, the naturopathic board fits under the medical board. How interesting is that? In Florida, the medical doctors oversee us. It's like, you know, I got words for that. And Harvard University Medical School. Now, if this guy was lying and putting up stuff like that, big mistake in Little Texas. The other mistake he made is calling himself a physician to the public like that, or a doctor, or calling his people patients or anything like that. However, none of his degrees came from accredited institutions. Duke is not accredited. The St. Luke School is not accredited. Some of these schools are very much accredited, but there's no accreditation for naturopathic medicine unless there's something new that's sprung up there. We have our associations and our boards and things like that, but that's just in our own field accrediting our own. No one out there has the brains to accreditate us because they don't know what we are and what we do. So when you're looking for accreditation from that, even medical doctors have a certified board, and half of them hurt people like crazy. So one thing naturopaths never wanted was a licensure. From a legal standpoint, a license means that the state is granting you a privilege to practice. Let me have a little insight here. You got to have some attorneys, a little insight to this. If you're born in one of the 50 states, you have rights, not privileges. You have rights, and if you don't exercise those rights with a attorney, it can get you in trouble. But deprivation of rights would be a good lawsuit for the state. Where is this at? Rhode Island. They could use a good deprivation of rights lawsuit because he has the right to practice. No matter what their constitution and what any state laws are set up, they cannot violate the overall U.S. Constitution. That sits rule over state constitutions. There has to be jurisdiction and everything else, but it is a deprivation of rights to require a license out of a state citizen. And if you're born in one of the states, legally you're a state citizen. So you have to be careful with that. But I've got more for you here. None of his credentials provide a legal basis to treat patients. Well, first of all, this is written by a medical doctor, Stephen Bartlett, so he's thinking in the way he sees things. Now, if John, the naturopath, treated patients for diseases, he deserves what he gets. No offense, but you've been warned, and if your school and all this world that didn't warn him, then shame on all these schools. Because even the Southern, what's his name from the Southern, knows better. You've got to be careful how you speak because you're interfering with medical doctors now. Medical doctors own the whole concept and the whole word diseases. They have encroached, though, over the line, making things that are not diseases, diseases. And that's ready for ripe lawsuits. But if they create the world diseases, copyright them, trademark them, I don't care what you do. But see how they've been wiggling in, making like acid reflux a disease. It's not a disease. So there's going to be a real bump coming between us and them calling everything diseases so no one can treat but them. These guys are insane, and so is the AMA. The AMA is the big problem, not medical doctors. They're only trained. The schools, all this stuff, ridiculous stuff. All right? So none of his credentials provide a legal basis to treat patients. And unless he has a medical degree, he's right. But supposedly he had a doctor of medicine here from St. Luke and Harvard and all that. I don't know. So I don't know where that is, to tell you the truth. One of his diagnostic programs was a complete blood assessment. Well, live blood cell analysis. That's the first thing to get you in trouble. Messing with people's blood. You don't do that. You don't need to do that. It's just I know what I'm talking about. Here's your blood. Look under the microscope. Look at all the parasites. You got to be real careful with that sort of thinking. Plus, wrong focus. Wrong focus. You're trying to treat by looking what's wrong, knowing that detoxification is a naturopathic experience. So his assessment was $950. What's mine? $200. And included in an in-depth consultation regarding your health history and nutritional diet. Biomeridian stress assessment, food testing. Oh, big deal. I mean, I don't like the way this guy set his practice up anyway. He did have iridology, a Chinese tongue and nail analysis, urinalysis, blood oxygen level, testing level, big deal. Heart and lung evaluation, oh, whoopee-doo. And a full body thermography. Okay. I mean, I can appreciate this guy big time. At the same time, he's crossing lines that he shouldn't have. And that's how they nailed him. Crossing lines he shouldn't have. All right? You got to be real careful. And by the way, FDA, medical, don't like devices. Be careful. Rhode Island's Unlicensed Healthcare Practices Act authorizes the Director of Health to revoke, suspend, or limit the practice of any unlicensed practitioner who conducts practices that require licensure or that results in harm to a patient. Now, here's the thing. In that, the healthcare practices unlicensed, that could be seen as a violation of deprivation of rights. And that could come back to haunt them. They cannot require licensures of a right of a citizen to practice what they want. I don't care what state it is. There's a lot of states that pass these funky laws perpetrated by medical lobbyists to shut us down. And the problem with that is deprivation of rights. And that's a big one. So you have to be careful here. Investigators found that Koharon commonly drew blood samples from patients, conducted unnecessarily invalid tests, and provided false and misleading diagnosis. Well, a lot of that crap comes from states are nothing but lies and twists. Even these detectives are assholes. They come in here, they came in my place, they signed a document, they're not a detective, they're not in here, and they violated that, and I could have sued the crap out of them locally. I didn't do that because we got a nice prosecutor down here. But I didn't do that. But you could, because they violated a contract that they signed, which specifically stated they weren't in here for entrapment purpose and everything else. Plus, these guys don't understand what they're listening to. They don't get it, and they're going to warp it. You know, there's as much corruption in the police department, and obviously as there is in judges and everything else. I mean, just look out in California what they did, that one, oh, a mess. In addition, the health department learned that Koharon prescribed an alcohol-based medication to a patient with liver disease. Big friggin' deal. We have liver cancer, liver cirrhosis, all types of liver conditions that these herbs with alcohol go right into them. But these are merged. It's not alcohol. It's herbal. It's like become one. It's hard to explain. But, you know, these guys couldn't fix liver problems if they had to. And yet, probably this John guy was helping a lot of people to a certain extent, you know. Wrong focus, resulting in an exacerbation of the disease. Yeah, they're going to have to prove a lot of this. You know, he could take this to court after a deprivation of rights. This could be an old case, I don't know. And he could go after them back. Because that's what's going to happen with us. If anybody comes after us, we're coming right back at them, full guns blazing, let me tell you. And it's not going to be pretty, because I'm telling you, we got a lot of facts. And these are some places, some states don't want to go right now. And what we need to do is kick some states in the butt a little bit with that and lose a few $1 million to deprivation of rights suits and things, and turn them around pretty quick. In 2005, well, this is the old one then. In 2005, an FDA criminal investigator summarized information from 5 of Koharon's former patients, and this is how they work, and 2 government agents who posed as patients, the investigator concluded. Right? This is how they work. It's how the IRS works. They're sneaky. They're criminals. They go in and they try to dig. It's like, just walk in and talk to us. Oh no, they got to be like snakes and lizards. Although Koharon is not qualified to diagnose diseases, and he's not, unless he has a medical degree, and he shouldn't go there. And he might not even went there. That might be their interpretation of that. He frequently told patients that they had, 1, live parasites in their bloodstream. That's not a disease. And everybody has parasites in their body, so, you know, that's bullcrap. B, a severely reduced number of blood cells. Well, he would be looking at the blood workup. C, and he should confirm that with the blood work. C, certain deficient body functions. Well, of course. I mean, give me a break. That's not medical. Medical does not own your body. Medical does not own the organs and glands. Medical does not own science. Medical does not own chemistry. Medical does not own physics. And if you guys think you do, you need to go take a cold shower and take you a long joint. D, worms in their blood, possible. I don't know about worms in the blood. Holes in their blood. You got to be careful about getting too crazy. And a life-threatening disease. Well, if this guy told anybody they had a life-threatening disease, that's really pragmatic for him, especially if it was a detective he told that to, because now he crossed the line. And I'm telling you, there's a reason I'm reading this to you guys. Most of Koharon's diagnoses on live blood analysis and biomeridian tests, neither of which has any genuine diagnostic value. Well, you know, that's again saying that medical doctors know everything. Now, I want you to remember antitrust laws too, because medical doctors have been violating this for years. There's some major stuff coming toward those guys if they even come this way. I'm telling you, they're just going to have some serious problems. And it might be the thing that breaks the chicken's neck. Let me see. Because it's like I told you about the Carrie Reams and what 60 Minutes did to Carrie Reams. And that's how crazy they are. That's how stupid they are. But these are the guys trying to get you, a common citizen that doesn't hurt people. They're claiming he had the potential to hurt person. They're making a connotation that he made someone's liver condition worse. Upon providing a patient with a diagnosis, Koharon offered treatment programs for prices ranging from approximately $200 to $10,000. Subsequently, the FDA and U.S. Attorney's Office raided, closed, and confiscated equipment and records from Koharon's office. In 2006, Koharon was convicted of mail fraud, interesting, and money laundering, that's interesting, and was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison in order to pay $1.4 million? I don't know how anybody have that kind of money. In restitution to 338 victims. All I can say, if Curran has that kind of money, then with the right attorneys and the right understanding of the Constitution and everything, he could have himself a little heyday there. I want to ingrain in you guys, forget the word diseases, forget the word treatment. These are key little words that belong to the medical doctors. But treatment also belongs to homeopathy. So that's the thing. They can't get the word treatment because that has been hundreds of years old by herbology, by homeopathics. And you see the problem with the medical community? They haven't been sued like they needed to yet. And when they do, God help them, because it's coming down hard and heavy. Because we're going to do just what the IRS and everybody else does. We're going to march patient after patient after patient through that courtroom, and the stories will curl the hair on the jury. Guaranteed. Some of your stories will curl the hair on these juries. And those of you that have redeveloped your bodies, good stories. So, sometimes it gets under my craw, things like this, because it's such a violation. But remember, you're on a primitive, warring planet. And this is just the consciousness of these people. They don't know any better themselves. When they get sick, they're going to go to allopathics, be tore up, and some of them will learn to come our way, and some of them will die from it. And that's just the way it is. But we have to become one voice, one strength, because that power in numbers. This guy didn't have any power behind him, so they walked all over him. But we've got civil rights attorneys, we've got constitutional attorneys, we've got criminal defense attorneys, we've got several good attorneys, and I'm sure some of you out there have other good attorneys. So when we become one, we can become more powerful. This planet has to have a good, high enema, so it can start having some joy and peace. Now, with all that stuff said, I'm going to read you a case. And the mother captured my attention, of course, by the way she wrote the letter. Kind of a little, get you. I've got the eyes from this woman, but I need better pictures. But what the eyes show, very, very chronic lymph. I see blue peeking out like the sun peeking through the clouds. So I do see the cells underneath, and you have strong cells underneath. All that brown is chronic lymph. The other eye, the left eye, looks almost all brown. So I need better pictures. All right, let me read this to you. I hope that this has personally reached your hands. I don't know if I can even read it. It's so gnarly. I'll put it highlighted. This is a 27-year-old daughter that has had serious health downhill slide for the past 13 months. She has been hospitalized, back to emergency 3 times. Oh, we're going to get into the medicine that we don't know anything about. Back to emergency 3 times, seen several mainstream docs, a holistic doc, and no one is helping her. That gets my craw. Holistic doc, and he couldn't help her? Interesting, huh? But if they don't know what you guys know, they're not going to help her. That's the problem. They have given up and dismissed her. I strongly feel that you are the one person capable of healing her. We respect you. Oh, thanks, sweetheart. She is at a critical point and needs immediate attention before something dire happens. I would like to list her symptoms, and then I will provide a synopsis of her recent medical history. My hope is that you will agree to see her as soon as possible. My ultimate goal is finally to know what to do for her to recover and gain her life back. I fear she is in advanced adrenal dysfunction, probably. I suspect also she has systemic candida and leaky gut. The candida test results are not back yet, but I am quite sure her thyroid panel is as low T3s of 1.8 and T3 total of 0.65. Presumably this is due to adrenal dysfunction. I don't think so. You could say pituitary dysfunction could lead to thyroid dysfunction, but I don't think you could say adrenal gland. The only way you could say that would be the autonomic nervous system. Then I think you could say that. Presumably this is due to adrenal dysfunction rather than actual thyroid issue. Someone told her that. Now, the following are her symptoms. Pitting edema. That means when you push the skin, it kind of wants to stay in and then come out. In other words, she's full of water. Why would a body hold water? Extreme acidosis. Remember we talked about drinking too much water? You give this little girl too much water and you could throw her in the hospital with congestive heart failure or drown her. So you have to get away from even juices right now because she's so acidic that her body's bloated with water everywhere. And that's not good in some places like heart, lungs, you know, things like that. So this lower half, feet, legs, stomach, lungs, top torso, had for probably 11 months, now rarely more inflammation, pain in top of right foot, old injury from fall last February that swelling exacerbates. X-ray is unremarkable, even face can seem puffy. Feeling pins and needles at times in limbs. So she's getting numbness. She's probably so impacted back here that it's creating numbness down her hands. Very common thing. And it's just that lymph impacting. And of course you know she's had impacted lymph because she swells. She's edemic, highly edemic. Now add that to her age, 27, you know she's got kidney and adrenals. So she's not able to even filter the water out through the kidneys properly. So you got kidney dysfunction, of course. Adrenals are coarse at 27. And then of course you have extreme systemic chronic lymphatics. She has diarrhea. Used to have 3 to 4 times per day. Joint sore after depletion and lightheaded. Then phase of defecating only every 4 days or so. Tried Colinson and lost everything as water for 2 days, but had burning and strange sores in mouth and through digestive tract from Colinson. Recently, loose stools that have undigested food pieces visibly every time while having daily multiple movements. Well, you know, there's no question her foods are moving through too fast. So she doesn't have time to digest her foods. Now, with all this systemic issue, she could have pancreatic digestive problems, gallbladder, lipid problems. That could be a given because remember when your lymph system's backed up, it's backed up head to toe. And so you're going to see problems peeking their little head up everywhere in the body. Don't be fooled. It's not a whole bunch of different things. It all is coming from the one source, the lymphatic system, the interstitial fluids that are supposed to protect and remove cell acids. Always bloated, worse after eating fruit, worst offender. So you can definitely go to high candida problems. You can go to probably some pancreatic problems here. Intermittent frontal headaches, stomach. So she's having intermittent headache, stomach, but then she's bloated all over the place. She doesn't digest well. So what would bloat up the stomach? What would bloat up tissue? Acidosis. And where does acidosis? The lymphatic system. That's cell waste. She's not, simple case of not removing cell waste again. And her eyes prove it because they're blue going on brown. Not good. Now they're going to be brown going back to blue, baby. Sore throat. Usually after fruit consumption. You know why? Because fruit is astringent. It's aggressive. That's how bad her body needs to detox. She eats a little fruit and her throat's starting to get sore, meaning it's trying to pull that mucus out of her voice box and out of her esophagus. Usually after fruit consumption, the back of throat gets orangey and voice scratchy. Orangey, huh? Boy, I need some good eyes of you to see if you have a bunch of sulfur in your gut. You could be loaded with sulfur because I'm sure with your little Johnson, the AMA, you've had some antibiotics. Bumps on back of tongue. Ooh, all right. But this is going the same thing. What causes swelling and bumps? Acids, and what system is acids dealt with in the body? The lymphatic system. Thank you. And that's what's swelling you all through you. Isn't it funny how one system can cause bunches of symptoms? On-off low-grade fever or body below normal temperature. All right. So the thyroid's going to be low when you see low body temperature. No question, low thyroid. But sounds like the pituitary's making everybody low there. Now, fever. We want fevers. We want fevers, right? We want fevers because why? What's your largest kidney? Yes, the skin. intermittent cold extremities, thyroid. But see how it's intermittent? So when you see hypo, brady-tachy, any of those movement from an aggressive or a hyperstimulated state to a hypo state, always inflammation or acidosis, or some chemical, pharmaceutical, or some, not just them, someone gave you some iodine, someone gave you something even in our field, that could create a hypoactivity. And it could be in the brain coming from the pituitary there. Let's keep going. Pale, sometimes orangey tint to face. Ooh, interesting, huh? Orange went away after massive depletion. Wow. Extremely tired, excess sleep, no energy. Feels weak, yet still tries to exercise daily, now becoming difficult and does not some days. Sometimes heart arrhythmia, describes feeling fumbling in chest wall or as though heart hitting chest wall. Vision not as good, worsens after eating, out of focus, never had vision difficulty before. Well, she's getting highly acidic, a lot of mucus can build up in the fluids, and she can feel mucousy floaters, things like that. That's first, then the detached retinas and everything is second. Very frequent urination that stopped after starting the 90 billion probiotics. Mucosic discharge from anus occasionally. She's getting mucus out of her still. Well, she's full of mucus. That's why. She's full of mucus. That's what it is. Thyroid's full of mucus, throat's full of mucus, voice box is full of mucus. When you go through a sore throat, you'll go through this, and then pretty soon you'll hawk up a big wad of mucus and the sore throat is all gone. Interesting. Really drives the point home that mucus, like Arnold Ehret was saying, is at the core of a lot of this. But that's a mucosa. That's an immune response to mainly proteins. Now, peppers and hot things can cause that too. Feels full quickly after eating a small amount. If eating full meal, feeling goes away. How interesting. Eats a little bit, she feels full. Eats a whole bunch, no big deal. Better when using probiotics. Feels sick after eating anything. Getting harder to eat, nauseated most days now. Often loss of feeling on right side, particularly in leg, lower half. Worse when edema or inflammation worse. Legs and arms always feel heavy and painful. Right arm just started with less feeling. Right side neurological. Feels like walking in quicksand. Hard to lift limbs. Woo! And we're just getting started, baby. You know, this is all a reflection of acidosis and the loss of myelin sheaths and nerve function. And this is the autonomic nervous system controlled by the adrenals. But to be honest with you, it works, this lymph and inflammation works itself all the way up in the cerebellum, all the way up in the brain. Come on, this is all through you. And that's just what this little girl is seeing here. Skin, particularly on legs and arms, sore to touch. This is intermittent. Little or no feelings in toes. After shower, always feels worse. Water absorption. Heavy, uncomfortable, and nauseated. Sweats out toxins once in a while when feeling particularly poor. She can feel emissions out of the pores in her hands and armpits. That's how acidic this girl is. This lady, she's not a girl, she's 27 years old. How bad she is here. Feels sicker when vacuum, stove, or other electrical appliances used. Is her magnetic fields off? Hell yes, but magnetic fields are reminiscent, remember, of chemistry. I've tried to be building that understanding in you that this world is a chemical world, but it's also controlled magnetically and controlled by energy or consciousness. And that you're seeing that and she could have mercury fillings. I mean, she could have all kinds of metals in her, throwing her fields off even. Even acidosis, creating a dehydrated state, will throw off your magnetic fields and metabolism. That's why you feel better laying on a magnetic mattress and magnetic bracelets and things like that. It sets you back on that base balance, but you can't, that's a treatment-based thinking. You got to get in and get interstitial, get the kidneys filtering. That'll get all the edema out. This will take all the inflammation out. Any tissues that have been damaged will repair. Mentally feels she cannot think clearly. I'm sure she's full of fungus, and her adrenals are down big time. And she's not always all there. Agitated and worried easy. Confused. Dry skin and scalp recently. See, it's all through her. Pressure in forehead. Pressure in forehead, behind eyes, ears, teeth can be extreme. Builds and then depletes with a runny nose. See, her body, this individual is so chronic lymphatically that she's full of mucus, she's full of acid, she's full of edema from that. All her glands are going up and down. The nice thing here, guys, is that they are going up and down. Much easier to deal with than a real chronic hypo state. So the fact that you're seeing that movement up and down, I like that. And when you look at her eyes, she has strong genes. So that's how bad a lymph system can tear you apart, and yet underneath you're George Burns. Underneath you have 100-year-old genes. You know, but that lymph can rip that and rip you apart, make you feel like you're just, your body's falling apart, and yet you got strong genes. One incident, left eyeball, intense pressure and evenly bloodshot with puffy skin surrounding it. Fingertips, feel an electrical zing touching inanimate objects. Inside head feels as though brain is chilly and cold. Oh, we're not done yet. You see why I had to call her? Feels burning sensation deep inside arms and legs. And that's just what's happening, sweetheart. You're burning. And that's acids burn. These aren't strong alkalis. These are strong acids from the cells themselves. You know, you're just not removing your waste. This is your sewer system. And it's, you know, it's beating you up. This individual has multiple food allergies or intolerances, well, you would lymphatically. She limits her food and is repetitious due to this fact. Sometimes the repetition eventually causes intolerance. This individual is a raw vegan, gluten-free, and eats fruits and vegetables only. Hey, all right. She has had this lifestyle for years. Well, wait a minute. She shouldn't have that lifestyle if she's a raw vegan, right? All right? See what I'm saying, guys? This is a much deeper problem. This is why you're going to love the herbs. Let me tell you. She thought this was due to candida and stopped all fruits except one green apple in her green juice. Since then, she has digressed considerably. So when she got away from the fruits, she started going downhill big time. How interesting. Well, wait a minute. I thought veggies were so good for you. No. And in this case, where she's so depleted, you want the fruits. You take Parasite M and things for the candida, and you take all the things to get your lymph and everything going, but you can't get away from the fruits, neurologically speaking. This is why when you have neurological cases, guys, you go fruits, berries, and melons. Forget the vegetables. You can revisit those guys someday later. It is due to the sugars you say are needed for cells. No, because vegetables have sugars. No, this is about the power of magnetics. It's about the power of the chemistry. Fruits have a lot more good chemistry in them than vegetables. And they're much more neurological, much more energetic foods. Easy to digest, perfect for the human being. Perfect. Ripe fruits, of course. The past 2 nights she has had watermelon and Fuji apples spaced apart and felt nauseated with serious lightheadedness after standing. She is trying to incorporate fruit back, no matter how poorly she feels, knowing all veggies are not work. Well, here's the thing. This is where the herbs come in to help her. This is when you know she's full of candida, you know that she's so acidic that the fruits are going to exacerbate, going to really get things rocking. Well, then she's going to feel things rocking. That's the beauty of having the herbs, working with the kidneys, working with the adrenals, working with the GI tract. You're going to open all the doors for her, start moving, all this water out, all this edema out. You're going to start moving these acids out. Everything's going to settle down. This hypoactivity is going to settle down. Everything's going to settle down. But that's why detox is the golden key. Not medicines. Detox is the golden key to get in, because there's not a medicine alive. She's already been to the ER many times, many docs, many medicines. You got me? Since then, she was, okay. Please see the following tests. All right. Now, her urine tests show negative for all the Salmonella, Giardia, Shigella, all of that stuff. No parasites found on concentrate exam, no Cryptosporidium, da-da-da-da-da, fecal leukocytes, da-da-da-da-da. Doctor dismissed as all other parasitic tests were negative. This individual's recent medical history: fell on a sidewalk carrying groceries back in last year of February, took Motrin for pain, edema developed in feet and ankles, so continued Motrin as an anti-inflammatory. April last year, went to medical clinic to check out, hurt during fall, x-rays showed nothing remarkable, and doctor had no clue as to edema. 4/23, hospitalized for hyponatremia. I always get that, just hurts in my mouth. Put it this way: sodium problems and low chloride. Jaundiced, given 3 saline IVs and discharged with sodium at 129. Oh, she had hypothermia, so she had low sodium. Well, she had low sodium and low chloride. Not good. That shows she's so acidic that the body quits stealing calcium, or maybe it's still doing that, but it's burning the sodium and chlorides. Told to keep drinking some fluids and add salt to food. Holy crap! Imagine someone like her, full of edema, and they tell you to add salt to her diet. That's insane. That's as bad as me not being able to pronounce things correctly. But worse, because you could die from that one. Developed burning sensation all over body, including eyeballs. 2 weeks later, went to see the doc again. He said the docs at the hospital were incorrect. Fluids must be reduced. Now, that doc was a little smarter. They went to the ER to stabilize, and the ER did that to her? Holy crap. Fluids must be reduced and monitored and cut the salt intake. Thank you, medical doctor. Thank you. Eat more Oh, shit. Listen to this. Eat more protein, and edema will go away. That's what this medical doctor, who was good on one side, told her start eating more protein, edema will go away. Holy crap. Followed above and 99% better. Protein, right? Now, 1 month later, developed severe headaches, swollen glands, sensitivity to light, went back to the above doctor who said it was just tension from looking at her phone. That's another good one. A couple weeks later, continued to have headaches, etc. Went to different doctor who diagnosed sinusitis from symptoms, description, prescribed Augmentin antibiotic, took for 5 days with massive diarrhea, 11 to 13 times per day. Worst possible scenario after low sodium, stopped Augmentin. Doctor prescribed another antibiotic. I will get a similar result, slightly less diarrhea, as also took probiotics. Another month later, went to ER, similar feeling like low sodium, overall weakness, migraines, pain behind eyes, CAT scan, CAT scan showed no sinusitis, told to stop antibiotics, had no answer for other symptoms, including edema, prescribed prednisone. I said no, that would probably kill her. Never recovered. And they call us bad? Realized pumpkin seeds and other seeds cause headaches, stopped eating immediately. A few months later, tried acupuncture. First time felt great, second time felt worse, and had electrical zinging throughout her body for a few weeks. February this year, went to different hospital emergency room, felt awful, weak limbs, heavy, levels of something in her body, shifting, ebbing and flowing, felt like passing out, lower right leg, loss of feeling, skin aches to touch, told she had myalgia and to increase her salt and drink extra liquids while avoiding activity. Act as though she was a hypochondriac. So when someone writes me a letter and says, you don't know medicine, thank the friggin' God there's a limit to what I know with medicines. Because this is the reason I'm reading this also is this is a redundant story over and over and over and over again. The trouble with these medical doctors, people don't go back and get in their face. They just don't come anymore. So they don't know that what they did was wrong. They don't know that. And they were not taught like we're taught. So they don't know any better. And some of these things, giving someone salt that's all bloaty and puffy, that could kill them. You got to be real careful here. That's not sodium problems. You just give more salt. That's more simplistic in naturopath. Sorry. You know, what gland controls sodium in the body? So you think her adrenals are doing good? Not on your life. Has since last February been in several doctors for help, taken multiple metabolitic panels and other tests. I believe Motrin caused the initial edema. No. And the antibiotics through her bacterial levels. That's true. And she has never recovered. In summation, this lady's life has been overtaken and consumed by feeling sick all over, blah, blah, blah. I won't go anymore, guys. But it's enough to say, what would you do about this? Is this lady in trouble and can never find her way back to Wellville? No, and that's not a difficult case. This isn't a difficult case. Sounds like she's dying, but this is not a difficult case. You're going to get in, you're going to get these kidneys and adrenals up, right? This is probably where you would use a little bit of a glandular on the adrenals, but you're going to get those kidneys filtered. You're going to go after her lymphatic system. You're going to go after her GI tract big time. And you're just going to go heavy in there. Upper circ, brain, and nerve would be my choice. Antispasmodic to holy help. Start working on these neural lymphatic points down the back. Start loosening up that flow of lymph down the back. You know, start working on that. That'll help maybe stabilize this Brady-Tachy syndrome there, or hypo syndrome there, where you're getting stimulated by inflammation. So you can work that out and work on that sort of thing. You go on the raw. Now, the herbs will help buffer the fruits, but there's a case where you could give her half and half. Half fruits and then half green drinks or something. But you have to be real careful with this case because everything is inflamed here. Now, here's her blood work, and I have not seen this yet, so we're going to share it together. Someone asked me also if I would do a video on blood work, and I will. I have to get back in my old blood chemistry seminars that I've taken quite a few of through the years, but we'll talk about the different blood things. Now, in school, you guys get that anyway. Last class we didn't have time to go over blood work. Hopefully this class we will. I try to inform because we like to be informed. The spiritual people like to know, but they also like to do what's right, truthful, and appropriate. So they're higher aware people. It's not that they're better, they're just more aware. And you see, and these medical doctors, they were focused, one focus. And most of this was I could tell out of the school that they learned. You know, and that's some of this stuff's real bad to do to someone in this level. So she's lucky she didn't get hurt worse by allopathic. But this is every day. By the thousands of people are being treated like this by allopathy. And ending up like this. And we just have to stop this. I don't care whose ego's out there. We have to stop this. Because this girl could have been helped years ago with any one of you guys. Especially you guys on Facebook. This was a case you guys could have cleaned her right up. It just sounds overwhelming. But she's losing her nervous system. She's acidic all through her. She's got her adrenals are way down. I don't see any blood pressure, but I've just got her case, and we'll be working on it, and I'll upgrade you as we go. It's a CBC. That's a complete blood panel. Actually, it just looks at your reds, your whites, your hematology, so to speak. She's got low white blood cells. She's got low red blood cells. But red blood cells are right there, close to 4, but still a little low hematocrit. Platelets are 2. Platelets are good. All right, so here's her metabolitic panel. Sodium's 130, a little low. Chloride's a little low. Her bicarbonate is good. That's 31. They call it carbon dioxide. There's another stupid thing. Now, glucose random is 78. Now, random means that she was not fasting. As far as I know, she was not fasting for this, and she was 78. So I can tell you she's running low blood sugar. That's why this individual needs to eat small meals more often. And since she bloats when she eats, even though she gets full, sometimes when you get full like that, it just shuts everything down and then the symptom goes away. But that's a false alarm. This individual wants to eat small amounts of fruit periodically throughout the day. I would probably stay away from all my acid fruits right now and do the subacid and sweet. Do your melons, but do small amounts and super chew, because we don't know what state until I see your eyes. I don't know. I see, but it's not enough to get into. But we go slow with that. You eat small amounts more often, because you've got to keep your blood sugar up. You're probably dipping into hypoglycemic levels big time. Bun is 9. So when your bun is 9, you're eating too much protein. So you're saying you're all raw, but you wouldn't have a bun of 9 if you were. Bun should be 4 or 5, or maybe 6 if you're all raw. 9 tells me she's getting proteins. But she was just told to go on a high-protein diet by this physician that would take the edema out. Now that's stupid, because protein is acidic. So what this will do is just exacerbate her inflammation. Not good. Bad advice. Now, here's positive. Her creatine's only 0.6. Yeah! So her kidneys aren't failing themselves. They're not burning themselves. She's just not filtering well. And these are chronic eyes and lymphatically. But when I look at her cells underneath, as much as I can see, I don't see a lot of lacunas. I don't see a lot of lesions. I see chronic lymph sitting down on her, chewing on her. And that's just what this blood work is showing me. Albumins are good. Here you go, alkaline phosphatase. Alkaline phosphatase represents either your liver, your bones, or your kidney. Most associated with liver and the liver enzymes, but could be a bone or kidneys. It's 96 for me. That's a little high. So let's look at the liver enzymes. Liver enzymes are AST, ALT, or SGOT, and SGPT. And they're 38 and 32. They've tagged the AST as a little high at 32. Definitely. So it shows that she has inflammation or acidosis in the liver. Well, she's got it all through her. So that would be expected. These are not excessively high, but they should be half that. Liver enzymes should be around 15, 16. You know, if they work themselves up to 17 now and then, okay. But in the 30s, they're just a little too high. We get them sometimes in the hundreds. But you know what? Easy to take care of this. Get the kidneys functioning. It'll pull that liver clean. You know, in fact, with this liver like this, you could give her plenty of alcohol-based tinctures of herbs and pull her right out of that. Let's see what else we can see here. Let me see. TSH. Now, what is the TSH? Oh, 1.16. That's a little low. So we have to see if she has an actual pituitary issue, or is that what's sitting down on the thyroid and kind of hyper and hypostimulating the thyroid? Is it the pituitary? Because when I look at her eyes, as much as I can see, chronic brain, lymphatically speaking. So she just has to get this opened up and drained. But to me, that's a little low. I don't see any T3s or T4s to kind of get a good rounded look at that. Now here's a urinalysis. Let's see what the urinalysis talk about us. Okay, so here we go. The appearance of the urine is clear. So immediately you know she's not filtering, but you know she's not filtering from the symptoms that she's having, right? She's got specific gravity. The urine pH is 7.5, too alkaline. So what's happening is she's so acidic that she can't hydrate, so her electrolytes are going out her urine. It'll take you a while, though, to hydrate this individual, so she will have a little alkaline urine. But as we break that loose and she sees sediment, that's acid. That sediment is acid. So that's going to bring that urine down to its proper acidic pH of around 6, 6.2. I know there's some people that believe they 5.5 or whatever, but 6s, in my opinion, are better, demonstrates better bacterial action in the lymph nodes, etc., etc., etc. Urine's negative for almost anything there. Color, a little strawberry, though. Well, how about blood? Negative for blood, negative for ketones, so I don't see anything there. I just see a highly acidic individual here. Here's T3, T4s. Yeah, you got low T3s and low T4s. Yeah, low T3s, low T4s. So I'm going to tell you that I'm going to highly suspect the pituitary here in this case. And I would probably go with my first protocol would probably include the pituitary, 1 bottle, 1 and 1. And then I'd probably look at that parathyroid. I have her her personal information here, and I will seek to go over that and get back with her and get this girl back to what? Wellville, baby. But that's a typical case that's out there. And the problem with it is that her first docs kept leading her down that road. And this is why it's so important that we all get online and at least be in some degree of focus of similarities. Naturopaths should be on the same train. The fact that there's naturopaths on some weird trains right now, I don't know what to say about it. It's why it's a little frustrating for me, because I used to, naturopathy was the most beautiful science ever perpetrated because it was true science. It was getting into look at the chemistry of foods, the body, everything like that. Physics, big part of naturopathy has always been magnetics and physics. You know, true naturopathy, you know, had the, like the Reich machine, but it's not like the Reich machine. And it's energy healing, you know, it's energy healing. But this is, you know, our field encompasses all sciences. That's what medical doctors don't understand. True naturopathy is the study of the science of nature, which includes everything from lighting, full spectrum lighting, to individual frequencies of lights, to chemistry. So when you start beating up on us, I question why. So anyway, I've only got a few minutes left. Daggone it. Organic Superman. Oh, man. This is from USHA. Yusha. Why my whole stomach is blinking. Sweetheart, you know what's, I don't know, you might have some, get the stomach tea and drink that stomach tea and cool that down if you're having any problems with the stomach. You know, some people's stomachs are really tore up with these high protein diets. And this is from Organic Superman. And, oh yeah. So true when you address the statistics with regards to pharmaceuticals. Oh, it's crazy out there. It's so bad that when someone writes me this thing that you don't know medicine, that's vomitous to me, because that shows a person that has no clue what's going on out there in pharmaceutical world. That's dangerous. That's so dangerous that it's not even funny. These statistics are real and frightening. And most of you look at these stories, and this wasn't a bad story on pharmaceuticals. Oh, there's so much worse. This wasn't a bad story against pharmaceuticals. I could read you some that just make you want to tear your hair out. No. But this is crazy enough. Crazy system. I saw a local TCM practitioner, traditional Chinese medicine, by the way, Tuesday. They could tell from my pulses and tongue an explanation of problems. I am kidney deficient. Yeah, I like traditional Chinese medicine. Some of the stuff, you know, bears, gallbladders, and stuff like that, which is then affecting the other glands, mainly lymph and heart, which I know is problematic, especially as an athlete, former at the moment. Doctors are saying I am post-viral. My heartbeat is very weak. Now, the reason Organic Superman, I wanted to read this real quick, is your heart is very weak and very worrying to feel, almost as if it is struggling to pump and blood around the body, hence the cold hands and feet. That's thyroid. So what you got to determine is it your thyroid or is it the pituitary shutting down your thyroid? Organic Superman, check your underarm basal temperatures. They're going to be low, though. And that's what that is. Your thyroid is low, therefore your heart rate is low, therefore you're not pumping that oxygenated blood like you should. And that can leave you like that. Maybe get an O2 saturation thing on your fingers, see where you are in terms of O2 saturation. On my body temperature is 36 Celsius. I forgot what that translates to Fahrenheit. My heart rate has always been very low. See, that's what I'm saying. That's your thyroid gland doing that. I would pick that thyroid up either with a glandular if you're really hurting right now, or hit that thyroid herbal formula might be well. Hits the, let me see, I was an athlete around 44 beats per minute. Just now resting. Holy crap, Organic Superman, way too low. You know, even as an athlete, you don't want too low of a heart rate and you want neurotransmitters pumping because that's your neurological, that's your worker bee nervous system. So, take a look at your pituitary, or pump up your thyroid, or pump up at the pituitary, either way you want to look at that. Or if you got a copy of your eyes, Organic Superman, send it to me, label it, so I can take a look at it and we'll see which one it is. But get that thyroid up there a little bit, and that'll increase your heart rate, therefore your circulation rate. Isn't that pretty cool? Easy stuff to do. So, I want to thank you all for, and I want to put this in here because this is, but I need it back. I'm sorry that I go so fast, but there's so much legitimate and beautiful questions that you guys have that needs to be answered. Bear with me. Tomorrow I'm going to come in for 2 or 3 hours if nothing comes up in my face and try to slam through some of these. I'll try to go slower. And maybe if I have more time and stuff, I can go slower. But I want to make sure you're all taken care of, you know. That is so important because we don't want anybody left behind like this. You know, it's just anybody that's suffering, we're here. I don't care what it is. But keep yourselves safe. You're not treating diseases. You're cleaning and restoring the health of people. Sorry, I'm a personal coach, a life coach. Or you have a detox center. Depends what your states and how they see that. You don't treat diseases. You're cleaning and rebuilding the human body. Remember, medical doctors don't own you. They don't own the human body. They don't own organs and glands. They don't. Too much invasion in that privacy will yield some serious suits in the future, and this will be the suits that blows them. Because I'm telling you, there's way too much destruction of tissue and way too much ignorance in allopathy, including in emergency rooms. And that one you can't get me because I spent 5 years of my life in ERs. So I know them quite well, guys, and I can just tell you that we can do it better. And if we join hands and the medical doctors join with us, that's a good power. So you all have a fun night. I love each and every one of you guys. Now, how'd your spiritual exercises go? Did you work yourself out? Any of you have out-of-body experiences? And were you able to stay in the now or become desireless for 1 week? Keep trying. Keep working on that nowness. Even if you walk around, be here now, be here now, be here now, be here now. Shut up, mind, be here now, be here now. Try your techniques, try your ways. Whatever way you do, keep working yourself in that eternal now. Because that's where we all are. And that's where God is. So, I love you all. You have a great evening. I probably won't get this till tomorrow, but may the blessings be to each and every one of you. And I love each and every one of you. Bottom of my heart.